In your music, so one thing that comes forth is also, well, in Ain't Nothing Changed, there's kind of having to be a breadwinner in a way.
Yeah.
So success has become part of it, or
yeah, it is. It's a weird thing. I mean, you know, it's definitely a bonus. There's a wicked line from a new J. Cole tune, and he's like, "Fuck the fame and the fortune." Well, maybe not the fortune, and it's real talk, because it's, you know, it's a big like perk of this is actually being able to provide for my family, because that's my sole goal. You know, my main thing, if I strip back everything at times, is like, you know, what I need to make sure I'm looking after my mum, and if as much as it would break my heart if I wasn't able to look after my family from doing this, and I wouldn't be able to do this. Do you know what I mean? I'd have to, or I wouldn't be able to do it full time. I'd have to be doing a lot of other things on the side to make this possible. So I feel, yeah, very, very lucky that I'm able to keep my house afloat with this, you know. But I think stuff like that kind of keeps you together, because, you know, because when you have responsibilities, you cannot just be, you can't act like an idiot all the time.
Sure.
You know? And I do act like an idiot all the time, but I kind of get, I don't know how to explain it, but it's very grounding. You know, it's a tough thing having responsibility, but it's a brilliant thing at the same time if you can deal with it, because it keeps you together and keeps you with a purpose. Right. Because me without a purpose would be a disaster.
Well, you mentioned BFG earlier. Yeah. And then this was written for your stepfather.
Yeah, for my dad. Yeah.
So. And then he sadly passed away a couple of years ago. So what was that? I believe you were still in school at that point. So was that the turning point where kind of the focus became doing the music?
You know, the focus just became, I had to like step up and like kind of help out in my family. My mum kind of, you know, was always saying, you know, do what you want to do, don't worry about us. But inevitably I was going to worry about my family. So yeah, it just became a thing where I was like, well, I need to make some money at first. So I was going to just drop out and get a job. That was my plan. But we had a couple, like, we've been offered to do a few support slots, so I was like, you know, I'll do those first, and then after I do those, then I'll go get a job. And I did the support slots, and then actually things started to like really slowly snowball bit by bit. And so every 6 months I go, you know, I'll give it another 6 months and just see how far I can take it, and then I'll get this job. And then I just never had to do it. I'm kind of still doing that. I'm still like waiting to get this, to go be a chef somewhere. Okay. But it hasn't happened yet.
But and you mentioned that BFG was well, obviously a very personal song. Yeah. So what convinced you to put it out?
Rebel Kleff, quite genuinely, because I recorded it, but I was just recording it for myself. I was writing a lot of stuff, but I wasn't writing a lot of stuff to be heard. Do you know what I mean? I was just writing a lot of stuff to do it, and I was chatting to like a manager about it, and I was talking to Chris, Rebel Kleff, but I was just doing it to do it. It was the only thing that really made sense at the time, was just writing and writing and writing. But yeah, and then I played it to Rebel after we'd recorded it and listened through to it together, and he was just like, yeah, put it out. You have to put it out because people need to hear it. I was petrified, but I'm really glad that I did.
Is it a difficult track to perform live?
Not even, man. It feels quite nice to perform live. I feel it's almost like keeping a memory alive. You know, it's actually a really positive thing to do, I think. As much as it seems quite negative, it feels like it's a good thing, and it's one of my favourite things to do in the show. Okay, for sure.
And then, well, I find it very interesting. Do you have a lot of tracks, or maybe just bits of lyrics or poems that you will never release?
Yeah, probably. I hope everyone does who writes, because that means that you're truly writing for yourself. You know. But yeah, there's loads of stuff I write and I go, that's too much, or I go, that's just for me. And I think people find it surprising with me, because it kind of seems like I say everything, and leave myself completely bare. But you kind of only show people what you want to show them, you know. So people think that this is my whole life, but there are obviously other sides to it. Sure. You know, like a happy side that seems to exist somewhere. Yeah.
But then there are some tracks that have a more upbeat side.
I'm very glad that you said that. Yeah, thank you very much. It's a refreshing thing to hear.
No, but was that important to have that balance, and then especially when working on a debut album?
Yeah, I mean, I really wasn't thinking about it like that. I was kind of just making what I was making, but inevitably, as I started making tunes and was putting my singles out, and we were spending more time touring the world and whatnot, I just inevitably got a little bit happier. Do you know what I mean? And so that kind of started to shine through my music, which is a good thing. And you can kind of see the tipping point in the album where it just kind of tips into being happy at times. But I mean, it's not like kind of happy, feel-good songs. It's just, you know, like kind of it's like a positive outlook on things. Whereas before I would have had to look at the same subject but it would have just been a bit more negative, which I think was it was just me growing up.
But yeah, is it based on kind of circumstances that you're in, and then the kind of the mental?
Yeah, well, it's just not worth it. Just like being negative all the time is not worth it. Negativity has a place, you know, in some of my music, and it's the thing that resonates with some people. But yeah, having a positive look on things is really important to keep yourself going, and to, you know, feel like in 80 years' time, if I live till I'm like 102, that'll be. That, you know, that I've had a good life that was worth living. Do you know what I mean? Or if I just fucking sit around being miserable all the time, it's not going to be worth it. That's all.
Well, I want to go immediately to the title track then, because I wrote the word positivity underneath it, and Yesterday's Gone. It is quite different than the rest of the songs. So what was the thought process behind it?
So that's my dad's song. It's got nothing to do with me. It was like he recorded an album that no one knew about, and after he passed away, my mum found it, and there was like a few tunes on it that were really that really spoke to me, and that was the one that spoke to me the most. And it was called Yesterday's Gone. So I put it on the album and named the album after it, because it was just I wanted to release some of his music, really, but also because I couldn't see a better way of like seeing the album out, or kind of saying what he was kind of saying what I wanted to say, but I just couldn't say it. I couldn't write it, you know, or I can't sing. So all of those things together, it meant that it was more important for him. It was like kind of was me, and then it's my mum, and then it's my dad, and then the album's done. And I think that's kind of how it was supposed to be. And
I read this about your father, that he was a musician.
Yeah, he made music kind of like part time. Yeah, it was very good.
Did you discuss music a lot?
Yeah, we did. He wanted me to like tour the world with him. He had this idea. He was like going to go on this world tour, and every year he'd be like, "Oh yeah, next year is the year." And it never happened. But yeah, no, he was a really good musician. But he, like, again, I guess that's kind of where I get it from. Is he was doing it. He wasn't doing it to be famous. You know, he was just doing it because he liked doing it, and his friends liked doing it, and so that's why I started doing it, because I like doing it, and my friends like doing it.
Sure.
You know, was never thinking, "Oh, I'm going to be this or be that."
Well, this is a question I always like to ask. Then, what is your definition of success? When will the album, for instance, be a success to you?
Being successful, just like being busy. For me, being busy every day and being happy about it. Like, if I could be busy every day doing something that I enjoy doing, then that's success. I guess. Yeah. And I guess you have to be able to make a living from it, so you don't have to do anything else. But yeah, that's it. Just to be happy at all times.
And then finally, I want to go into kind of the audience that you have now, because these are very personal things. You write them, I suppose, on your own. And it's a very solitary thing in a way, I suppose. But then people all over the world can connect to it. So what does that do to you?
Yeah, it's just very moving. It's something that I kind of still haven't really got my head around that much. It kind of still blows my mind, especially being out in Europe like I am at the moment, because it's not something that is close to home in terms of like it doesn't make sense to me when I go out to the crowd and want to talk to people and they're from other cultures and other backgrounds. Like chatting to them is really amazing, because you hear about things that you never really think you would hear about, or kind of, you know, you hear about cultures that you would never hear about, and how my music is kind of making its way into that part of their culture. Yeah, it's special, man. A lot of people say a lot of personal things, and it means a lot. Something that I really don't take for granted. It's something that I hope will continue, so that I can continue to help out, I guess.
Is there maybe one thing somebody said to you that you can share, that somebody
loads of stuff, man. I mean, it's difficult. I try not to talk about it because they're not my stories. Right. It's not my thing. But like people just talk about, you know, people they've lost or you know, or things they've gained since hearing the music or whatnot. And yeah, I mean, it's moving. There was one mum who's like came up to me. He was like, I was supporting someone. I think I was supporting like Kate Tempest. Okay. And she came up to me after the show and she's like, I'm having a really tough time with my son. I hope he turns out like you. And I was like, you really don't hope he turns out like me. But, you know, like with a mum like you, then he'll be all right. And that was the thing, is I felt so sure in the sense that she was so worried about him that it couldn't be a problem. Do you know what I mean? But she cared. That's the only thing that you can do. Do you know what I mean? As a parent or as a friend or whatnot. If you care about someone, then there's no chance they're actually going to, you know, hit the wall because you're there caring about him. And I was like, well, he's got you to care for him. So,
very last question then, because also Stars in Shards was one track that kind of stuck out to me. So is that what kind of what you went through as well, was kind of having something to focus on and then not going down?
I just saw loads of guys crumble, like loads and loads of guys who like were sweet enough, like weren't that sweet, but they were all right. Do you know what I mean? And then they just all like just crumbled from just doing the same thing, just surrounding themselves with nonsense. And so yeah, it was something that I wrote that when I was really young actually.
Okay.
I wrote it when I was like 14, 15. And yeah, and it's something that kind of we revisited, and it was still true because all the people I was writing about then had just got even worse. Okay. So it made sense to put it out.
Okay.
Poor guys.
Well, is that difficult going home and then being amongst?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really around it. Like I still live with my mum, my little brother. But yeah, no, I'm so busy when I get home that I don't really have to worry about that kind of stuff anymore. It's quite nice. I mean, I go home and I still see all the same people, but the people I surround myself really are the people who are nice. Okay. So I've never had to worry about it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, Loyle, thank you very much for your time.
Absolute pleasure, man.